All right, team, we're going to talk about my favorite, and they are trend lines. Trend lines is something that I just absolutely love. And one thing I do tell my team, as it is something I learned from my mentor, is that trend lines are 90% stronger than any level, any zone, anything. They're amazing, and they give great confirmation for trades. So with that being said, we're going to look at an uptrend and a downtrend. And remember, the trend is your friend. So that's why trend lines are 90% stronger, because whenever we have a trend, for example, here where there's higher lows and higher highs, we want to take advantage of those positions. So what we're going to do is, for a buy, you always want to connect your trend line on the lows, okay? Because remember, we buy low and we sell high. So because we want to buy low, we want to buy at the lowest price possible so we can have the profits and not have to wait too long for that to occur. We want to get the best entry. So what you will do is, I like to use this trend line tool right here. Let me show you. There's also something called Array, which a lot of people like, and literally it draws it for you. It's a really great tool. For whatever reason, I don't use it. I guess I'm a little old fashioned, but you're going to try to connect all the lows without having slippage. So like, I see there's a low here, but if we do that, do you see how they're not landing on top of the trend line? So we don't want that. We want to try to get as many touches as possible. So you can see where we have 2 points, 3 points, and try to see if you can just let it go. Now, the Ray may help you with this until you get better. So feel free to use that Ray tool. So now we can see that the market pulls back beautifully and respects this trend line. And every time that happens, these are opportunities for you to enter buy trades. Whenever you see this right here and it just respects this trend line, you want to buy, because again, trend lines are 90% stronger than anything. So that's how you draw a support trend line. Now, when the market shifts and it does not create a higher high, like right around here, you can see where it created the same low and it was unable to achieve a higher high. Now, it could go back to this trend line and make a higher high because it may need that momentum from that trend line, or it could weaken. And I have noticed, if you test a pair that you like, typically after 3 touches, sometimes there are either manipulations or a change in the trend. Again, this doesn't always happen, but it is something that I have learned just from my years of trading. So if this does not respect this trend line and price just pushes right through, the next thing you want to do is wait to see if price will close below and pull back or retrace right at this trend line below it. And that will be an indication that there may possibly be a new trend and the structure will be retested and it'll keep going. So that's how you would be able to treat it. So it's like support, just like we discussed in the previous video, but at an angle. Remember, we had to wait for that break in the retest to confirm the change in trend. It's the same thing, but it's an angle. So now we're going to discuss the sell trend line. And I want you to practice these. Okay, now we're going to do a sell trend line. And this one, remember, you don't have to always start from the top, but you want to be able to identify them. So as you can see, I'm going to get my trend line and I'm going to work on these little areas just right here. And you can see that we have beautiful, beautiful touches. Okay, let me do this. So you can see where the market made an impulse and remember, pulled back to the trend line. Now it's not going to hit it, every single time, but it respected it. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the candle to close below or just right at the trend line, just like we did with the buy. So we have right here, it's respected. Then we have it again here, it's respected. And we're going to go over price action so you can understand the importance of these wicks and what these candles are telling us, you guys. But you can see where it's just respecting the trend line. So remember in our previous video, we talked about resistance serving as a ceiling, and every time it did, we're going to sell. That's exactly what you're going to do here. But remember, it's just at an angle and the trend is your friend. So this is a better probability of getting into a profitable trade as long as you understand how to enter. And we're going to get into that very shortly. So As you can see, every time it respected it. Then what happened? Just like I showed you guys with the other trend line, the buy trend line, it broke out right here. It landed on basically on top of this trend line. And then what happened? We started to see a shift in momentum, and it started creating higher lows and higher highs for a buy. So we were no longer in a downtrend, okay? Our market structure was broken and retested, and so was our trend line. So these are very good indications. And literally, I could draw a trend line right here going up, and you would see where this just gives you confirmation on identifying higher lows and higher highs being made, no more lower lows. So I want you to practice your trend lines. If you need help, just remember, send us a screenshot, explain exactly what it is you're not understanding, or if you would like to just show a pretty example, a nice example for others in the group, feel free to do so.